Good morning, everybody. It's the pollinator, and uh, it's Tuesday morning, I do believe, and I wanted to attempt to make a video that may make me emotional. I don't like to get emotional, but it may do that with me. If you like the content of my videos, you can hit the subscribe button over here. Occasionally I put videos that will pop up over there. Oh, God, I think the last one I did it wrong again. I had to make a clip or something, a separate clip, cut it out and say, every time go and do, or put the same kind of some kind of artistic clip that points to where I really want you guys to look for things in my videos. Anyway, and then you can click the like button, you can hit the other button, and subscribe to my channel. You'll have to click all to get all the notifications that I upload a video. This video, the other morning I woke up with a real heavy heart. It was yesterday. No, I'm sorry, day before yesterday. I woke up with a heavy heart. And why? You know, since my father passed, a lot of the emphasis of things that I talk about, the things that I discuss when I'm being interviewed, the emphasis is really heavily on my father. But let me tell you something. My mother was my heart. She was the coolest fucking lady. And I don't mean to exclude her when I'm talking about my life, because she was very, very, very much a part of my life all of the time that I knew her until she passed. I was only 35 years old when she passed, and that was really a bummer, because I was just going into my stride, and she didn't live to see any of this stuff. I know she's with me, but that's not the same as being able to call her up and talk to her about all this kind of stuff. And my whole nuclear family is gone, and that just breaks my heart that I cannot talk with any of them anymore. But my mother, she was my queen. And I do not give that label to ladies automatically because they're women. They have to earn it. And my mother didn't have to earn it because she was already that way. And when I was young, I did not like her because she was a girl. She was a girl who did things in girlish fashion. And, you know, me being who I was and how I was, I didn't appreciate that, and I didn't like it, which is kind of weird because after I grew up, the ladies that I liked the most were like her. She's ultra feminine. She was a tiger of a mother, a lion of a mother. And she was always, always, always there for me. Always. She raised us. She was a stay-at-home mom. And so she got the opportunity to have hands-on with us all the time. Because my father was off doing his thing, providing for the family. And she was the one that I turned to. She was the only one that I talked to about intimate things. Not too intimate, but as intimate as could be for a young person, a young child, and a teenager and all of that mess. But she ended up becoming my best friend. To this day, I cannot stand it when people have a crappy relationship with their mother. Now, I realize that it's very difficult when your mother is abusive or anything of that nature. It's very difficult to have a great relationship I mean, there's a whole lot you got to do to unpack and to unravel and to build a new relationship with a mother that's like that. Because you got to put a lot of things aside. You got to give her a lot of freaking grace for how she was raised, for some of the trauma that she went through, and have heart to hearts about it, which could break those walls down. But most people are too judgmental to have that kind of forgiveness inside and enough grace to help them change. They would rather just be mad at their mother for what they didn't give them, for what she didn't give them. And I've never operated that way. I've always given my elders a lot of grace, because that's the way I was raised. We didn't do what they do today to elders. You didn't talk back. You didn't get in their business. You didn't try to have a conversation while they were having a conversation. You didn't include yourself in their conversations. And I mean, I was this way till the day she passed. And I would still be this way if she was still alive. I was that way with my father, and I was that way with my mother. Now, but with my mom, it was just we had so much fun together. Both of us were night owls. Both of us loved breakfast foods. We went to a lot of restaurants together. We went to concerts together. We vacationed together. I mean, we just had a blast as adults. Once I forgave her and made amends to her, it changed the whole relationship. Everything I thought about her that was bad and negative, guess where that was coming from? Not her, it was coming from me. I'm the one that was lacking the ability to forgive and to understand than to be understood. And once I embraced the St. Francis prayer, I stopped looking for my parents to understand me. I started to understand them. And in that, I was able to give them space to see what kind of person I really was and to interact with me in the way that I really was. And it changed our relationships, absolutely changed them. And they didn't have to do anything. I'm the one that changed, you see. I've been changing and growing steadily since I was 26 years old. But the military sent me to the Bay Area where my mother lived. And that began a relationship that was just so awesome, so beautiful. People adored us together. They envied our relationship with each other. I remember one time we went to see the Winans in concert in San Francisco. And I took my girlfriend and my mom, and God, they were being hilarious. They were so bad I had to sit in between them because they was going to get us kicked out the theater or get some people mad because they were talking about women that showed up in their Sunday hats and their hats were in the way. You couldn't see the stage, and they were talking crap about them, and they were being all loud about it. And I said, you know what? Y'all gonna get us killed. I said, you know what? Move over, Cindy. And I made Cindy go sit on this side and my mom sit on the other. And they were laughing and giggling, and my mom was just such a wonderful woman, and she was my number one fan in life. She appreciated everything I did. Everything I did. I used to be in a band when I was in high school, and she would show up to my concerts. She was just always there for everything I did. She showed up to my track meets. I was an athlete on the track team. She showed up for everything. She was there when I won Airman of the Quarter in the military. proud mama that she was there, and I've got a picture of me during that event with my mom, and just, whew, I miss her. God, I miss her. So, I'm trying not to get emotional. But I just wanted people to know that even though I've been processing my father for the last, since he passed in 2020, before all that started, it was my mom. My mom was my everything. Now, I wasn't a mama's boy, but I was very close to her. I was so close that it was good enough to her not to have a full-time man in her life because she had me. That's what she said. And I said, Mom, I don't have the kind of relationship that you need from an intimate man. And she said, well, I don't. The thing is, my father was the love of her life. And she never wanted to remarry after they divorced. And that's the truth. She did date a guy for a while. Thought maybe that was it, but it wasn't. And so she was just happy dating guys. But it was me and her that were going places together and doing things. I lived in one place, she lived in another. We never lived together, but we were together a lot. I helped take care of her as she was passing, along with many other people. We were all taking shifts because she just had this magnetic personality. And guess who inherited that? I did. She just had, when she passed, I was blown away at the number of people that showed up to the memorial we created. She had a small house in Sunnyvale, California. And over 300 people showed up that day. They just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. From morning till night, people were coming and crying with me, and sad that Charlene Gibson left. She died of breast cancer. And it was real hard. It was real hard to watch that happening. To be there through all of that. The hospital staff had nerve to steal her jewelry. The only thing they didn't steal was this ring that my father had made for her for the 1966 or 64 World Series. They knew I didn't notice that was missing. But the jewelry that was around her neck, the jewelry that was on her arms, they took all of that. Hospital staff are just, something wrong with them people. They have no regard for personal property. They'll steal your shit. If you don't expressly say what you had on when you checked into that hospital, you're going to check out and have that stuff missing. But, other than that, it just, we ate out a lot of different cool, nice places in the Bay Area. I could just go on and on and on about what a great relationship that was. From how she felt about me, being attracted to women, to just everything. I took her to gay parties. She took me to straight parties. She took me to gay parties, which blew me away. One day I said, Mama, she said, what is it? I said, have you ever had sex with a woman? And she said, oh, baby, no, I'm strictly dickly. And I'm like, Mom, I did not want to hear that. And she just laughed, and I was like, oh, my God, I can't even believe I asked that. Of course, she gave me a straight answer. when she was going through her treatments, she came to my job to take me out for lunch. And as she pulled up, I was walking towards her car, and she pulled up and she rolled her window down, and I walked up to the car, and she looked at me and she went boom, and she pulled her hair off. She had a wig on. I didn't know it was a wig, but she pulled it off, and she was her hair was completely gone. Just, and I was horrified. I didn't know whether to laugh or what, but she started laughing. And so I started laughing too, but it was really bittersweet. It was really sad. I didn't like to see my mom suffer. They couldn't stand me at the hospital. I was giving orders. I was like, no, you ain't gonna let her be in pain. Every hour on the hour, I was looking for nurses. Where is she? You know, that was back in the day when they couldn't push a button and give themselves a pain medicine. And of course, in the end, they were giving her morphine to make it easier for her. But if they didn't show up on time, I was right there at the desk. Where's the nurse? Well, I don't know. I said, find somebody. I don't care. Anybody can come and put that shot in her IV. I'm sure they thought I was an ass, but I didn't care. My mom, the love of my life, the woman who cared the most about me, unconditionally. There was no condition to her love for me or no my love for her. And that's the way your parents are. That's the way they should be. And that's why, to me, a lot of times stepmothers and stepparents don't fit the bill, because they don't love you unconditionally. Mine didn't. Everything was conditional with her. But it wasn't that way with my mom. Anyway, she gave me the ability to love others. She taught me that. So I just wanted to express these things that, you know, sometimes I miss her so much it hurts. And she passed in 1993, and I still feel it like it was yesterday. It's not as intense as right after it happened. I mean, I kind of lost it. I lost my mind. But I miss her so much. It's really hard. Mother's Day is hard for me, even though I try to fill that with other women in my life, my aunties and people of that nature, but it's just not the same as your mom. And I've spent most of my life now without her. Well, almost. More than half, almost half of my life without her. And I know she's out in the universe smiling because of what I've made of myself, despite all of the hardships that I've had in my life, going from riches to rags to riches to rags to riches to rags. I've done that trip about 3 times, 3 or 4 times in my life, all after we lost her. But I can just feel it that she's proud of me. I never lived my life to have my parents be proud of me, but, you know, it's something you secretly desire from your parents. And she was not ashamed whatsoever to tell people how proud she was of me when she was alive. She introduced me to everybody. One time I said, Mom, she introduced me to like 15 people at one time. And then the next day she was talking about somebody in that group of people. And I'm like, she said, you know, you remember so-and-so? And I said, Mother, you introduced me to all these people. She says, well, you know what? I'm going to give you a quiz. when I introduce you to a lot of people, I said, you better not. You know I'm not going to remember them. I have a blockage about names because I was exposed to way too many people growing up. Way too many people I was introduced to on a regular basis. And so I just have a block in my head when it comes to names. I don't even remember famous people's names sometimes, and a lot of times. I just don't remember people's names unless I've spent a lot of time with them. But anyway, she gave me culture. She gave me so many things. And I hated them when I was a kid. I hated all the things that she drugged me and my sister into. But it gave me something that at the time I didn't know it was going to do. Culture, manners, grace, class, the ability to compete and be around people of any type, anywhere, anytime. From rich to poor, it didn't matter. The way she structured our family, there was no distinction between the way I was living and the way. Now, they saw the distinction, but I did not. I just hung with whoever. It didn't matter if they were poor. It didn't matter if they were rich. It didn't matter. I had rich friends. I had poor friends. I had a whole round of people that I could interact with without being pretentious, without any of that stuff going on. That's because of my mom. Because of my mom. Because of Charlene. She even had a unique name to me. It was unique because she was unique. And then I became unique. Just, it was like a domino effect. So if any of you are missing some of your loved ones that you were close with, I completely understand your pain. It does ease, it does lessen, but it never goes away. It just never goes away. And there are going to be times and days that just bonk you on the head and go, whoa, God, you miss her. I used to try to hide on Mother's Day. It was real hard for me to watch other people hanging out with their mother, and me not being able to hang out with mine. Her birthday, holidays, they were never the same after I lost her. I just lost the gusto for them without her, because we hung out together. We were the only family we had out there in California. Now, there was a whole bunch of other family members that I met while I was out there, but I'm not sure she was ever close to them. She just knew who they were and where they were, and we went to a family reunion a couple of times and met them. But it was just me and her conquering the world together. I helped her, she helped me. So that's all I have to say about my mother. I'm sure that's not all, but I think that's all in this video that I wanted to express real strongly, that she was everything to me. Absolutely everything. And if you're feeling that way, God bless you. They know that we miss them, and they probably miss us too. So everybody have a blessed rest of your week, and the pollinator is out.